This is the plaintiff, William Jackson Jr. He says he and the defendant lived together and shared the expenses, but when she moved her boyfriend in and still expected him to pay the entire 50% of things when 3 people now live there, things went downhill fast. Then one day she locked him out and she refuses to return his belongings or give him access to them. That's not fair, not cool. That's why he's here in court today, suing her for the $5,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Lenitra Randall. She says the plaintiff's mistaken because she split the bill 3 ways with him while her boyfriend lived with him for the short time he was between places. As far as his belongings go, she made numerous attempts to get him to come pick the stuff up, but he never did because he had no place to store the stuff. Now he's suing her for them? Please. She's accused of being a rotten roommate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $931.99 for unpaid rent and utilities.
All parties, please hit your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. These litigants were roommates, but the defendant moved her boyfriend in and wouldn't pay his share of rent. The defendant says the bill was split 3 ways while the boyfriend lived there. It's the case of, I want a 3-way.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Jackson, you used to live with Ms. Randall?
Yes, ma'am.
As housemates?
Yes.
Okay, and then everything's going well until it doesn't. Did you have a written lease between each other or no? Like a separate sublease? All right, so
Just
go on.
verbal agreement. September, the boyfriend started coming around. She would ask me first, like, can he come over? Is it okay?
Is this the boyfriend?
Yes.
Or is this a new
Yes.
guy? This is the guy, right? The guy in question? Okay, go ahead.
And October, he moved in for a few weeks till he found his own spot. A month and a half into it, the power bill was $134, and in November it jumped up to $195 with him being there. The water bill was $62 and jumped up to $85, and I felt it was right for us to go 3 ways on everything.
So did you bring that up with her?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you bring that up with her?
I texted her on November 26th, told her I needed a break. I felt like he needed to leave if he can't pay 1/3 of the rent bills.
And what did she say?
She disagreed. She said that they were already splitting her 50%.
And then who was paying the utilities?
We were all splitting it.
You were just splitting it?
I was paying 50%.
And 2 people were paying 50%? That's not fair.
Correct.
All right, go on.
On December 29th, I got fed up paying 50%, and he's still living there, and the utilities going up and up and up. I added up the rent and all the bills, divided by 3. And that's
So
what I
now
did.
it's the end of December, and we're talking about January, and he says, I think I should only pay 1/3, and then what happens?
On January 2nd, she sent me a text that I need to prepare to move out. She wrote up a 3-day notice, which I have here.
She gives you a 3-day notice and then does what? She locks you out?
Yes, correct.
What day does she lock you out?
On January 7th, I went to work, and when I came home, all my clothes was out. Bed.
What was out? Clothes and what else?
All my clothes, one dresser.
All your clothes and a dresser were in the hallway. Did you lock him out? Did you change the locks?
When I had the locks, I had the leasing office change the locks. He was there.
You can't lock him out.
The lease's office didn't
Stop.
know.
You can't lock him out. You're his landlord. Can your landlord lock you out?
I thought I could if I don't pay.
No landlord can lock out the tenant. You have to go through court. You have to actually go through an eviction. You can't lock the guy out. Is this truly a surprise to you?
Yes.
Like right now is the first time you realize that?
This is the first time I've ever been in this situation, yes.
Lordy, lordy. So a bunch of trash bags with a fan on top and a dresser. Okay, and so what do?
I pack it all up in my vehicle and call up my cousin in the middle of the night and ask if I can stay with them.
What efforts do you make to get the stuff that's inside?
On January 8th, the next day, she contacts me by text to
Let me see. Is all this on text?
Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
see it in the phone?
Sure.
So what's your story? Why is it okay that he move in and that he still pay a portion of his rent, and why was that okay?
That's not what happened.
Well, he moved in.
Yeah, he moved in, but
Well, the minute he moves in, were you two sharing a room?
Yes.
Was it a 2-bedroom?
Yes.
Okay, so, some figuring out is what was in order. Mm-hmm. So, how long did you live there? You're the cause of all this problem. I hope you're satisfied. How long did you live there?
Ma'am, I had moved, my lease friend, and I moved in with her, and I didn't stay long. I had start working in Mariana, Florida, with FEMA for a while. So I wasn't there like that.
He still lives there, Your Honor.
I was there, but I'd come down every 2 weeks and stuff, and go back and start working stuff like that. But I had to pay my half too,
Half?
I paid $650.
You paid what?
I paid $650
To who?
to her, the state.
Now that you found out that the rent was only $925, how you feeling?
I mean,
So what's half? Then you were paying all her rent. And then some. Okay, Nene, that's you.
Yes.
Says to you, good morning. We'll need to arrange a good time for you to pick up your chair, TV, stands, and bed. I'll be leaving to go to the Bahamas this week, so let me know what works best. And then you ask, Saturday morning good for you? He gives you some question marks, and you say, no, I have an appointment Saturday. Also, I've started school. He says, no, I have to work. I have extra hands set Saturday morning. Can you arrange for someone to be there? Mm-hmm. You say, I'll check, and I'll hit you up after my appointment. So on Saturday at 6 p.m. is when you say, hey, Will, Dante will be in town sometime next week so you can get your things. What happened? Did you guys talk on the phone?
No, that was after I rented a U-Haul and was outside with a police escort.
Why wouldn't you answer if the police and you could get all the stuff out of there right then?
No, Your Honor, I was not there. I did not know that he was there. I was doing hair that Saturday, and I had 3 heads.
And then you say, what happened to you calling me after your appointment today? You waited all day to tell me to come next week? So he's asking you, look, I'm outside. Can I get my stuff? Hello. And you ignore him. You got some nerve. On February 4th, you text him at 6. Oh, I just want to bottle up your nerve and sell it. Hi, you don't have anything at my house. The things you left inside were donated, sold, or given away prior to this. Your refusal to remove your belongings when asked, especially from outside my door, resulted in a fine when our building got inspected. Nene, have you lost your mind, woman? So you're suing for the items that were inside. You violated a fire stick worth 2 fire sticks worth $150. When did you come up with that all of a sudden today?
Connected to the TV
okay.
that I didn't get.
Family member. You left a family member in there? $300?
I had to move in with a family member that night. I got kicked out and gave him $300 for rent.
Your family member charged you $300 to take you in the night you're kicked out? Your family member needs to be excommunicated from your family.
But I will.
All right, January rent of $445. So you want back because you got kicked out on the 7th.
Correct.
I get that. Okay. Let's see your counterclaim against him. You're counterclaiming him $931.99. Part of that, $218.90, is a balance owed for December bills. Now, you're also asking for $462.50 for January rent. How you figure? You threw him out on the 7th in an illegal lockout, and he'd already paid $308 for that.
Okay, so if you have 2 roommates and one of them moves a boyfriend or girlfriend in, do you then have to split the rent 3 ways? Is that required?
It's technically not required by the lease, but for consideration and emotional compensation, I would say yes.
Yeah, well, emotional compensation, take it to Dr. Phil. I'm talking legal.
Yeah, I don't think legally it's required, but yeah, if you're being a good person and want to be a good roommate.
You think it's legally required?
Legally required? Yeah, by contract they are. I mean, well,
how is it by contract? If you have 2 people,
they're not legally required.
2 people on the lease.
if there's 2 people on the lease, then yeah, it's not legally required.
So what can somebody do if they move a boyfriend or girlfriend?
If they plan to be there.
Yeah, what can you do if they're there all the time and they say, well, I'm allowed to use my room for whatever I want?
They should go to where they're renting and say the third person is going to be on the lease.
That's why you should be coming to some sort of agreement before you moved in with.
All fair points. Going inside the courtroom.
He didn't pay for January rent, Your Honor.
On December 29th, they paid you $445, right?
You're right.
That's right. Part of it is electricity, miscalculated, so say you, because he has no right to make it only a third. And the other part of it was rent in a third. It's not enough, so say you, because your guy wasn't living there anymore. I've got that. but the rent portion was for January.
Okay.
Which you threw them out. All right, folks, I'm going through all of these bills, the cable bills, and let's establish a couple of things. First of all, you did an illegal lockout. Bad on you, okay? You understand that some bills come in after you leave for the period of time that you were there and enjoying it, right? Yes. So you acknowledge that there's going to be some bills that come in January that you're responsible for. All right. There is a ton of stuff there that you should have made available, and you weren't all that cooperative. But I also note that you weren't all that eager to get it because in the beginning you didn't have any place to put it, and then after that you wanted new stuff. So that stuff is there now, and it's intact. Yes. And what I am going to order is that there's going to be a date and time set for you to pick up your 2 TVs, your 3 TV stands, your bed, your recliner, your 2 fire sticks that you say are on the back of it, your air mattress, all of the physical stuff that's still inside that apartment. So that's how that portion of your lawsuit is going to get taken care of. Now let's discuss the 2 U-Hauls you had to hire. I agree with you, you should be entitled to that. And let's discuss, you want $300 for a family member who charged you $300 when you went to flop on his couch? I don't think so, because I don't believe you. And you want the return of the January rent. I could sit here and slice and dice and try to figure out, well, you've been 7 days and divide it. I'm not even going to do that, because shame on her for throwing you out. Anything you paid for January rent, you should also be entitled to. All right, so that means that what you paid of that $445 in rent was $308.33, and what you paid in utilities was the remainder, the $136.67. I'm going to take that $308.33 plus your U-Haul bill, and that's what's on your side of the ledger, and now I'm going to get to you. Let's see what you're suing for on your counterclaim. All right. You're mad that what he paid was 1/3 of the bills for December and 1/3 of the rent for January, and you calculate $218.90 as being the rest of what he owes you for both. Well, here's the rub. I tend to agree with you that your remedy is not to you on your own sua sponte like your Lord of the Manor to decide that you are going to change what the rent agreement is. Your remedy is to give her 30 days notice and move out if she's doing stuff that you don't want. You can't just change the rent and change the bills without an agreement between the 2 of you. So I find that you really were entitled to half. Now, the half would be of the utility, because you're entitled to bupkis on the rent because you kicked him out in an illegal lockout. So that's why he gets the whole $308.33 back, and let's discuss what he owes you on the utilities. When I do the math on that, it's an additional almost $65 plus the water bill, the cable bill, the electric bill, and I find what he owes on that is another $98.02, not the figures you're asking for because your figures are all messed up. So that means that he owes you $102.76 legitimately. So if I take the figure that I say you owe him and I subtract the figure that I say he owes you, you still owe him $284.31, verdict for the plaintiff, and nobody leaves this courtroom until my bailiff sets up with you a date and time when that is going to happen and set it sufficiently in advance that you can have a police escort. Okay? Good luck, folks.
Okay, so we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Doug is going to talk to the litigants in the hallway, so stick around.
Well, after a lot of mathematics on the judge's part, turning her into an accountant, you know, it's going to get, you got to give him back $284.
Yes.
You got it? You okay with that? You understand? You locked him out. You shouldn't have done that.
Well.
That was a no-no.
Well, I understand that.
In legal
part,
terms, a no-no.
He broke our verbal agreement.
Well, the judge has decided you did him wrong.
All right.
And she did a lot of other figuring, and that's her decision.
That's fine.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Goodbye and good luck. All right, Mr. Jackson, how do you feel? You know, this is put the judge to a test. A lot of work for her part.
Sir.
Yeah. You okay with this?
I feel like I should have got compensated for my new items that I had to purchase, but it is what it is.
And are you going to follow the rules of the judge and go get your stuff?
Absolutely.
You work it out with Officer McIntosh and with the cops. You'll go get your stuff.
I have no problem.
And I
with
hope
that.
it's all right.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
For your part.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
All right.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, look, I mean, there are all sorts of rules that landlords have to follow, and tenants too when you have roommates. I got to tell you something. Not only are you not allowed to lock a roommate out of an apartment, but there are some states that actually make that a crime, where if you lock them out, you could end up going to jail.